All right, pre-algebra skill practice H3. This is everything you need to know, pretty much. I'm going to go through this one rather quickly. This is our third one. I'm going to be talking pretty fast. If you need it slowed down, go back to H1 and H2 videos, and you can check those out at a little slower pace. Okay, we've got square root of 81. We've got square root of 405. Square root of 81, hopefully you know, is going to be 9 times 9, 9 squared, so anything squared can come out front. It's going to be 9. Between what two consecutive whole numbers? Well, this would be square root of 400 and square root of 441. That's going to be 20 and 21. It's going to be between. Simplified. Now, hopefully you're realizing there was a pattern here. We'd always use this as a factor. So you could think of 405 as 81 times 5. 81's a perfect square, therefore it can come out front. So you have square root of 81, which is 9. 9 times the square root of 5. We'll keep going. Okay, original price is $345. The sale price is $300. What is the discount rate? Difference over original times 100. So we're going to do difference over original times 100. It works out to 45 out of 345. And you're going to get about 13% discount. That is the discount rate. We'll keep going. Okay, the original balance is $550,000. The annual interest rate is 0.57%. What's the total balance if you let this account sit for 20 years? So we're going to be using the I equals PRT. Your principal is $550,000. Your rate as a pure decimal, you'd slide that decimal over twice. Your time is 20. I equals PRT. You type this in, and you get $62,700. So then you add that to your principal amount, and you get $612,700. We're going to keep going. Okay, volume surface area for cones and pyramids. How much metal would be needed to make this figure? So we have this figure down here, and the metal would be covering the outside. So we are looking for surface area. We have a pyramid, we're looking for surface area. So we want this formula. And then we just plug in the numbers that we know. You could literally type in pi r squared plus pi rl into Desmos, and then you could say r equals 3 and L equals 5. Remember, L is the lateral height. So for this problem, we don't really care about the actual height. You mainly are concerned with the lateral height. And you get 75 feet squared. We're going to keep going. We have our triangle. We have its points. Where's the location of point A's image after the different changes happen? So we're taking point A, and the first thing we're dealing is a, horizontal translation of -5. We've got x minus 5 and y. So -3, 2, -3 minus 5 gives you -8, 2. Notice how the y went untouched. Reflection over y. So when you're reflecting over y, you're not touching y, you're taking the opposite of x. So -3, we take its opposite, you get 3, 2. Dilation of 3, you are multiplying your x and y's by a scale factor of 3. So 3 times -3, 3 times 2, there you go. We're going to keep going. True or false? The numbers below could represent the measurements of a right triangle. We're going to utilize Pythagorean theorem. We're going to do the old a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We're going to substitute. Your two smaller sides are going to be a and b. Your longest side is going to be c. And you're going to work it out. You're going to see these two squared, that's squared. Do they add up to the same thing? They sure do. Therefore, this is going to be a right triangle. This is true. What is the probability of picking a black marble and then picking a striped marble? We have two different scenarios, returning the marble and keeping the marble. So the probability of black then striped. Well, there's 1 out of 6 black marbles, And then when you return the marble, then you have 3 out of 6. You can get this in lower terms, and then you just multiply. 1 times 1, 6 times 2, you get 1/12. That's about 8%. It's about 8%. And you know what? Let me be real good, careful with this. That should be a squiggle. Okay. Take tag on it. Okay, take 3. Here we go. What is the probability of picking a black marble and then picking a striped marble? Well, that's going to be probability of black then striped. When you're returning the marble after the first event, you still have a 1 in 6 chance of picking the black. Then you put the marble back in, you have 3 out of 6 for your next one. You get those in lower terms, you get that 3/6 to 1/2, you multiply across, you're going to get 1/12, which is about 8%. It's about 8%. Keeping the marble after the first event, you still have, for the first one, it's 1 out of 6. Suppose you do get that black marble, you have 3 out of 5 for your next one, for your striped. Now you can do some cross-canceling. Hopefully you remember how to do that. 3 goes into both of these, it goes into 6 twice, goes into itself once. 1 times 1 over 2 times 5, you have 1/10, which is a 10% chance. So you've got your keep returning your marble, putting it back in the bag, and then keeping the marble. 2 different scenarios. All right, we'll keep going. We're going to draw a line with a y-intercept of -4 and a slope of 6. So we're going to find our y-intercept of -4. There it is. And a slope of 6. That's a steep slope. You're going to think of that as up 6, right 1. From your y-intercept, I'm going up 6, right 1, up 6, right 1. And you could even go reverse the pattern, and you're going to get the line looking like this. That is a steep slope, but they do happen. We're going to keep going. So there's the equation of this line. Y-intercept of -4, slope of 6. Okay, sleep time and weight. All the people are the same height. One person sleeping 10 hours, they weigh 140. Oops. One person sleeps 5 hours, they weigh 200. 8 hours weighs 150, and so on. The time you sleep is going to be the input. That's the cause. That's the independent. The weight is going to be the output. The weight depends on your sleep. The correlation between these variables, let's see. It looks as if when you're sleeping a lot, you don't weigh as much. And as your sleep time decreases, your weight is going up. So as one goes down, the other goes up. That's a negative correlation. All right, we'll keep going. We've got a picture of a line. What is the y-intercept? What's the slope? What's the equation? It's hitting the y-axis at 2. Your y-intercept is 2. Your slope is going to be down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. It's going to be -1. Your equation of your line is going to be, you could think of it as -1x plus 2, but in simplest form, you're going to see it as -x plus 2. Y-intercept of 2, slope of -1. We'll keep going. All right, we're going to solve this equation. You can treat this like a proportion and set the cross products equal to each other. 3 times 3n is going to be equal to 5 times the sum of n and 2. We get this. We multiply them out. We can do distributive property here. 5 times n, 5 times 2, 3 times 3n. Now I'm going to get my n's to one side. I'm going to go ahead and subtract off the 5n from both sides. So you get this. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 4, and we get 2.5, 2.5 for n. And that's it. All right. So tractor renter, $45 a day. Tractor fuel, $5 per gallon. That's some pricey fuel. Sean, our buddy Sean, rents the tractor for 3 days. If the total cost is $310, how many gallons of fuel did he use? So we've got to make our equation. Our cost is going to be 45 times the days plus $5 per gallon. So cost is $310. We set it up, and he rents the tractor for 3 days. So D is going to be going in for days, for 3. We don't know our gallons yet. That's what we need to solve. Let's work out what we can. 45 times 3, and then subtract it off, and then divide out the 5. 35 gallons of fuel. That's a lot of fuel. All right, we'll keep going. We're solving for m. We've got negative 1/4 times the sum of m plus 12 is greater than 2. We're going to do some distributive property. Negative 1/4 times m, negative 1/4 times 12. You get this. Negative times positive makes negative. Now we're going to add 3 to both sides. Couple ways you can do this. You could literally divide out the negative 1/4, and hopefully you're realizing I need to reverse that inequality because of that negative coefficient. Now, when you're dividing by a negative 1/4, that's the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal, which gives you negative 20. So m has to be less than negative 20. Now over here on the choices, the only number that can be a solution is going to be that negative 30. Because negative 20, it's the target, but not a solution. It's the reference number, but it's not a solution. And that is it. I hope this helps. Best of luck to you.